Hello, Bhante. Bhante, I can take care of YouTube. It's okay.
Good evening, Prashant.
Yes, Bhante.
So I just got on to, I just logged into the YouTube.
Okay.
I paused it, so that should prevent that thing, right?
And that is not necessary for YouTube, Bhante. That is just for our backup. Yeah, but that's okay.
No, because otherwise it get that echo sound, you know.
Okay, you already got it on. Okay.
Well, hopefully it won't come on again. But if it does, you can manage it from your side, right?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay. So Prashant, you're still uh, uh, you're gonna you're coming here on Sunday evening, right? Prashant.
Yes, Bhante. Like, that's my plan.
Hello, Orapin.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
But in all your travels, have you ever made it to Antarctica?
No.
These penguins are Antarctic penguins. In my background there, I was in Antarctica before COVID. It's a great place to go. You'd love it.
You went there on a tour?
Yeah, we took a cruise ship from Buenos Aires. You can do like a 10-day ride from Ushuaia, Argentina. But we did a longer one.
I've been in Ushuaia. I saw the boats that were headed
Oh,
there.
you should have grabbed a ride. So from there it's about a 10-day round trip to the peninsula, Antarctic Peninsula and back. But we did a longer trip so we could see some of South America while we were at it. So we started in Buenos Aires, ended up in Santiago, went to Ushuaia and St. George's Island. So it was a great trip. It was a little bit just right before COVID.
From Ushuaia, I went trekking in the the Patagonia.
In Chile, yeah, yeah. We went up that inland waterway in Chile, so we saw some of Patagonia. We were in the state for a
Okay,
while.
we'll go ahead and start now. For those who like to join the chanting Namo Tassa and the three refuges. Let me better unmute myself here. Namo tassa bhagavato
Bhagavato
samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So last week we concluded our study or exploration of the traditional 7 steps of the 7 stages of purification, which included the 8 insight knowledges, and which lead up to the actual experience of, entering the stream and the higher stages of liberation. But this evening, as I mentioned in my email, that I'm going to just kind of talk briefly about my experience last weekend at the ordination ceremony at the Empty Cloud Monastery in Orange, New Jersey. Now, for many of you probably know about this monastery. It was started by an American bhikkhu, Achan Sudaso, and a friend of his, who's now a bhikkhuni, and they've started this kind of a eclectic, or you could say non-traditional monastery, in which both the nuns and bhikkhus and bhikkhunis are, staying, or they open it up to that, and they're, sort of following the kind of some non-traditional aspects of the ordination ceremony as well, and also the interaction between monks and nuns. They're sort of, you could say, Americanizing it in terms of the idea about more equality between monks and nuns in certain respects. But I'm not going to go into all those details necessarily. But this ordination was kind of, you could say, a little historic. And so there was one American bhikkhuni, her name was Satima. She's a person of color, a bhikkhuni. She's been a samanera for a number of years, and was an anagarika before that, and she had stayed at the Bhava Society quite a number of times, even up until her ordination last week. She had been at the Bhavana Society, living as a samaneri with Bhante Gunaratana. And but they decided to have this ordination ceremony up at this Empty Cloud Monastery. And this monastery is, I don't know if you saw the photo that I sent out, showed the building in the background. It used to be like a Trappist monastery, belonged to, I think, the Catholic Church, and they needed to sell it for whatever financial reasons. And so this group somehow managed to buy this large kind of manor house and start this monastery. Anyway, there's also a monk ordained at the same time. And a young fellow, he's only 20 years old, and he's been living at the monastery. I think he's a student of this Sudaso Bhikkhu. And he also took Upasampada ordination. So this ordination was unique in that sense. It was held kind of jointly. Normally these ordinations are held separately in a traditional way. But the ordination sima, they established a sima on their property just before the ordination. And the ordination was basically done. There was monks, there was about more than 10 bhikkhus, including myself, and Bhante K. Uparatana, that some of you may know. He's a senior monk, and he's the abbot of the Wheaton Buddhist Center in Wheaton, Maryland. So I went up there with them, and so anyway, this ordination, they had the bhikkhunis. Some of you gotten these photos that somebody had sent out. A lot of photos were taken, of course, and some people have been sharing them. They had the bhikkhuni sangha also with about 15 bhikkhunis too. From all over America, they came. They flew in from California, from North Carolina, and other places. So as you saw from the photo, there was, I didn't count the exact number, but there probably would have been close to 25 or 30 monks and nuns or bhikkhunis and bhikkhunis there. And the unique feature of it was that they kind of did the ordination simultaneously. And so the bhikkhunis had their own ordination preceptor, who was a Sri Lankan bhikkhuni. And sitting right next to them were in the same hall as the bhikkhus. And so the bhikkhus would go through the bhikkhunis would recite 2 or 3 lines of the ordination process, and then pause, and then the bhikkhus would recite 2 or 3 lines of the ordination procedure. Then they would go back, and the nuns would then continue and recite 2 or 3 lines of the bhikkhuni ordination for the bhikkhuni. And then the monks, or Venerable Sudaso, who was the preceptor, was reciting, and the bhikkhu was reciting the things that they have to recite for the ordination process. But the unique feature is that I don't know if that has ever been done before anywhere in the world, where this both the bhikkhuni ordination and the bhikkhu ordination were basically going on. They had their own semas, so to speak, the way that they made the semas. So, it may seem a little controversial to more orthodox monks, especially, in different places. Or more orthodox or strict monks might, have some, questions or maybe some objections to the way that was done. But anyway, it kind of is an example of how this particular monastery, they are kind of, trying to forge in this country, the community of monks and nuns, and making it more compatible or acceptable to especially the female monastics, and anyway, I'm not going to go into all those particulars, and I'm not taking sides on either way about it. But there was a few little objections, but they were ironed out anyway. The ceremony basically went through fine, and so we now have one new American bhikkhuni joining the bhikkhuni sangha, and a young American bhikkhu joining in the bhikkhu sangha, and that bhikkhu will continue to, I think, reside with Venerable Sudasa, who's his teacher up at that monastery, and the other bhikkhuni, the new bhikkhuni Satima. I'm not sure where she'll be going to be reciting. But anyway, it was a very nice day, and it was held outside, and there was a big dana and everything. And basically, I just drove up with Venerable Uparatana and 2 or 3 other monastics in a van that morning. We left here at 5 o'clock in the morning and get up to New Jersey by about 9, and he got back about 8:30 that same night. So that's about, that's my description of that process. And if any of you have any, questions, about that, you could ask, and I would try to answer them if I'm able to. But any further questions?
Have there ever, that's been sort of one of the bhikkhuni issues is that they've had a hard time getting I don't know what term you want to use, monastery, convent, going where they all stay together over a significant, or sort of a permanent establishment that's around for a while, like Bhavana. As far as I know, there's no bhikkhuni equivalent to Bhavana. Wouldn't be as old, of course, but is that still the case? I haven't checked. I haven't kept up to speed on.
No, we were trying to do that at the Bhavana Society. And we had at one point 3 or 4 bhikkhunis. We never ordained any bhikkhunis there. They were ordained as a samaneri, and then Bhante Ji had sent a couple of them to Sri Lanka, where they got the higher ordination in Sri Lanka from the Bhikkhunis Sangha in Sri Lanka. And then they came back to the Bhavana Society, where they were then living. And then there was 1 or 2 other bhikkhunis who came there from some other places. So at one time there was 3 or perhaps 4 staying there. And but then later, after I left there was some, anyway, at a certain point there were some issues with, I don't want to go into all that, but
I was around for that, so I
it
kind
was
of
decided that it wasn't going to work out. So the nuns had left. So they all left and went to other, they joined other bhikkhuni places or started their own centers in other places. So there hasn't been bhikkhunis living there. I mean, some had visited, of course, but they allowed some nuns to visit for periods of time, but not to stay permanently. I don't know if that will always be the case, but anyway, so yeah, at this point, this monastery up in Jersey, Empty Cloud, may be the only place where right now I think there's only 1, maybe or 2 bhikkhunis staying in that place.
Yeah, that's been always the issue. It's not a critical mass anywhere. That's always been that's still the case. That
there's a
not really
Dhammadharini's monastery in California. It's all bhikkhunis.
Yeah, there are bhikkhuni monasteries now. Yeah, but not with monks and nuns living in the same
Right.
monastery.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't expect that, but so they do have a critical mass there in California.
Yeah,
That's always been kind of
Yes,
a question
in
here.
fact, I think 3 or 4 of the
Good.
nuns who came to this ordination had flown out
yeah.
Well, good.
to
Well, good.
California. Yeah. And there's a bhikkhuni living, there's in South Carolina and in Charlotte, North Carolina, there are 2 bhikkhunis that I know quite well, actually, but they're pretty much living alone. And because they have a very small little, centers.
North of Seattle, I think there's a couple. I forget the name of the town now, but I think there's a couple north of Seattle now as well.
Naturally, it will grow, and there'll be more and more things. But yeah, and that I see it as a good thing, and but yeah, just like with change in anything, change comes slowly, to some, purposes. So yeah, that's why it's been a little bit slow in developing. They wanted to make sure it was done right, and so there wouldn't be any, bad feelings or recriminations, down the road. So,
Bhante, can you hear me?
yes, we can recognize Shobana's voice.
Yeah, Bhante, I just wanted to say that I think it's very heartwarming what Empty Cloud has done. And, a good step towards the equality between the female Buddhists and the male Buddhists. I think it's high time that equality comes into action. And I really admire what they have done.
Yes. Okay, any other questions about that? So as I mentioned in the newsletter, I also wanted to just kind of talk about the topic of the retreat that I had conducted at the Bhavana Society 2 weeks ago. I think a lot of you know that I had conducted a retreat there for 4 days. And the theme of that retreat is the theme that I've been using for a lot of my retreats over the last 10 years or so, is that living and dying with awareness. Now, originally the topic was, the awareness of death, or death meditation retreat, or awareness of death, and that's the way that they initially defined the theme of my retreat. But actually, the title of it, I changed the title to The Awareness of Living and Dying. And the reason I did that is because you cannot die with awareness if you don't live with awareness. So you have to live with awareness before you can actually die with awareness. And you can't understand death unless you understand life, what life is. So, living with awareness is basically, living with mindfulness. So, the word mindfulness and awareness are sometimes interchanged. But I like to make a kind of a little a difference, a qualitative sort of distinction when using those words. Now, mindfulness is a practice. Let's say it comes from the 4 foundations of mindfulness, and basically it means to be alert from moment to moment, basically, and a higher. A more advanced mindfulness from moment to moment, but it doesn't start that way for most people. So, mindfulness is taught as mindfulness of breathing, and then mindfulness of the body. Of course, you're contemplating those in the present moment. So the breathing is going in and out, breath is going in and out in the present moment. So you're focusing the intention on an object that's occurring over and over in the present moment, like the breathing, as we're quite well aware of. And then from that, it goes to the body. And then, you're mindful of the body, you're mindful of the postures, you're mindful of the movements. Then your mindfulness of what the body is made of, right? The 32 body parts. And you're mindful and aware that, this body is continually changing, undergoing impermanence, and that the ultimate destiny of this body is it will die. Anything that is born will die. And so that mindfulness is, remembering this nature of this body. And then the feelings. But whenever you bring your attention to the body and get centered in the body, naturally you're going to start feeling all the sensations. Because the body is basically made up of billions of cells and atoms and molecules. And so the sensations that you feel in the body are basically cellular vibrations, which is the life force. I mean, what is life? It's just these billions of cells keeping this body alive. And in many of my Dhamma talks, I talk about the moment of conception, and for 9 months, the cell division produced this multi-trillion, billion-celled body. And basically what is just these cellular vibrations that have come together and created all these body parts and all these 4 elements of material elements, water, air, and the life process. So really living means tuning in to that living process. A lot of people think they're living by, going to work and having a family and, entertaining friends. They call that life, but, that's only a superficial life. That's only external life. So in this, in the way that I'm meaning, living and dying with awareness, it implies that, but it means getting grounded and centered in the living process. That means in tune with the body, and by using mindfulness of the body, because that's really where life is occurring. And that's where death is going to occur too. Life started with the first breath coming into this body, and it dies when the last breath goes out of this body. But this breath going in and out, the breath is there to keep the cells alive. So it's the cells of the body that are really the living process that cause your heart to, pump blood and even for the lungs to expand and contract. That's all, part of the material process. So that's why and that's occurring in the present moment. So when you get grounded and centered in the present moment, using the breathing or the body itself or both, I always recommend, using both of them, you get really connected to the present moment. And so if you can stay in that kind of connection to the body, the breathing body more and more, your awareness is going to be in the present moment, because whenever you feel the body, it's in the present moment. But normally people are lost in their thoughts, going between the past and the future, worrying and with desires for the future, or fear of the past coming back, or fear of the future. And, people are just living in their minds most of the time. And so that's why, and if you were to die with your mind in that state, then, you're going to die without awareness. Because awareness, again, is that being really grounded in the cellular vibrations. The the more your body, the larger and more aware and expanded that awareness becomes. So anyway, that was sort of the idea about it. And so basically living in the present moment by practicing mindfulness of the body and being aware of your body movements, which is the easiest thing to do, and because we're moving our body all the time. So why can't we just be aware of it? When you're lifting your arm, why can't you just be aware of it? The arm is lifting. When you're turning your head, why can't you feel the sensations of the muscles in the neck, turning? Or, when you're hearing a sound, know that you're hearing a sound. So when you tune into the present moment, awareness becomes very bright and clear when one is really connected to the body. So, and then when you die, you'll be aware, if you're aware of the living process now, you'll be aware of the death process. And that's the most important time of our life, is the moment of death. Because it's at the moment of death where the mind separates from the body, the consciousness. Then it's going to be attracted, normally it's attracted from the quality of the mind just before death, what kind of thoughts your mind is entertaining. Is going to be to a large extent where the mind is attracted after death. So if the mind is grounded and present in the body and aware of that process, that awareness, and even aware of the thoughts coming through without clinging to them, that's how you can liberate the consciousness at the time of death. But if you can't do that while you're living, there's not going to be much chance of doing that when you die. So that was the kind of the emphasis of the retreat. And because in a lot of meditation retreats, they talk about sitting and walking meditation. When they ring the bell, people kind of just unmindfully, get up and stand up, and they cut that present moment awareness by, their mind is too quick to stand up. Oh, we got to stand up. And so they miss so many hundreds and thousands of moments of awareness in moving more mindfully and standing up, slowly stretching, and then keeping in touch. So you mindfully transition from the sitting position into gradually coming out of that concentrated awareness, but taking a couple of deep, slow breaths. Then doing standing meditation, not being in a rush to start walking. People think that, walking is so important. No, standing is just as important than walking. So you transition from a sitting position to standing, and then stand for a couple of minutes or even longer, because that's the present moment, and then start walking mindfully, and then coming back. And then we also, of course, incorporate some yoga exercise, which helps to have a better circulation in the body and helps to get, exaggerate or to have a better feeling in the body, more you can feel that organic aliveness of the body when you do, some stretching and deep breathing. And that organic aliveness of the body is awareness. And the more you can feel that, then that's the way you're developing awareness of the present moment. And then the idea is hopefully to, continue that, and then of course you will understand about, you'll be ready for the process of death. So there's a little saying: if you're here and now, you'll be there then. So if the mind is, grounded in the body here and now and living more in the present moment, then when you die, the mind will still be there in the present moment and hopefully be able to let go of any sort of negative thoughts or states that would affect the ability of your consciousness to, have a very peaceful and transition or to even to attain states of liberation. So basically, that's that's basically what I nowadays most of my teaching are centered on that, because that's what's lacking. Most people's lives is just they treat meditation like something they do for an hour, in the morning or hour in the evening to calm their minds and so on. And all that is good, of course, but it's there's a lot more to that development of the meditation than just seeing meditation as something to gain some calmness for short periods of time, rather than developing a continuous level of awareness, which is really not that difficult if a person knows how to do that. Anyway, so that's, I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so if anybody has any questions about that, then okay, I see a golden hand there. Suzanne, you have a question?
Thanks, Bhante.
Please speak a little louder.
Sure. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Bhante, you know this saying, we are not our bodies, but we're really asked to take care of them. Can you say a few more words about the fact that we're not our bodies?
Well, I have to contradict that statement. We are our body. Our karma produced this body. For whatever reason, we were born with this body for karmic reasons. And of course, ultimately, yes, we're not in total control of it. So that's the meaning. But, it's, we don't own it, but it is our place where we have to live for the remainder of our life, and we have to take care of it just as you would take care of your pet dog or your cat or any other animals, or you take care of your car. You want it to be in good working condition. But the idea of no self means that ultimately we understand that even our ego consciousness, it's our ego consciousness that thinks this body is mine. And on the relative sense, okay, we can say that. I can say that. I can say, this body. But I understand that ultimately the ego is an illusion, and ultimately that this body is a product of karma. But as long as we're bound in the dualistic consciousness, then it's we have to live in this body. So in a sense, yes, we are not only the body. You could put it that way. That we're consciousness. It's the consciousness would be more ours than the body. So anyway, these are difficult concepts to understand. Do you have any further comments about that, Suzanne?
Thanks for asking, Bhante. The whole notion of no self and body, and sometimes I think, Bhante, whether one understands that or whether one doesn't, sometimes there's a part of me that thinks it doesn't matter whether there's an understanding of no self or the body is part of that or isn't part of that. What really matters is that one practices. And if there's an understanding, great. And if there isn't an understanding, it's also okay.
Well, the right understanding, the first step of the Eightfold Path is right understanding. The Buddha wouldn't have advised us to gain right understanding if he didn't think it was important. And one of those understandings is understanding the nature of this material body and understanding the nature of this conditioned mind, the five aggregates: feeling, perception, the body, feeling, perception, volition, and consciousness. But understanding them as being a continually changing process and basically powered through karma. So understanding that helps our mind to get on track, especially if you want to eventually be able to let go, because whether you understand it or not, if you don't understand it, then you're going to be, maybe limited in, or the mind could easily get, limited or distracted in its, kind of development to eventually let go of the body and mind, especially at the time of death. So the understanding is important too. This idea, oh, you don't have to understand anything, just meditate, be mindful. Okay, well, but you're missing out a lot without that understanding.
Thank you.
Chart
Right
question.
understanding and right thought, those are the first two steps of the Eightfold Path.
There's a chart question.
What? Oh, is there something in the chat box? Okay. Okay, this looks like a question about the ordination. Is there any minimum qualification for a higher ordination, like knowing certain suttas? If not, what could they teach about Buddhism properly? Usually, it depends on where you're ordained. You're not going to just be taken off the street and immediately become a monk. Normally, you have to be in a monastery, you have to have a teacher, you need at least usually 1 year or month, if not more, being a lay person and being a novice, learning the Dhamma. And which includes learning suttas, learning how to chant in many cases, learning how to kind of behave, the monastic discipline, and things like that. So that's what that's the qualification that you need for the higher ordination, not necessarily, memorizing, a certain number of suttas, but certain teachers might have you do that. Like when I was ordained in Sri Lanka, my teacher wanted me to memorize the Karaniya Metta Sutta, Mangala Sutta, all these Parita Suttas, before getting ordained, because that's what monks do when they become monks. They're required to do chantings and things like that, but not all monasteries, would require that. So it might depend on where you plan to get to ordain, as to what the teacher, your prospective teacher, is going to require of you, before the ordination. And some don't require anything. So, so there's a lot of variables. But you are required to understand the monastic training rules that you are expected to observe and understand, particularly those, and the ordination ceremony, to memorize the stanzas and all that, although not all the time they don't memorize it fully. Okay. Okay, is there any other questions? Okay, so let's take a few minutes break and then come back and do a few stretches and then have our meditation practice. Okay? I'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, friends. So let's try to stand straight, relax your shoulders and arms at the sides. Just gently close your eyes. Feel your eyes in the eye sockets. That point on the eyes, try to feel the general outline of the body, sense of the head on top, the arms and hands at the sides, clothing touching the skin, the feet pressing the floor. And begin taking some deep, slow breaths. After breathing in, hold the air in the lungs 2 or 3 seconds to allow all the oxygen to get out into the bloodstream. And slowly breathe out. Feel the last bit of air go out to the lungs. And the next in-breath, just take a few deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness of breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to breathing movements. So the next breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back and stretch upward. Release the fingers, the out breath, arms back to the sides. Again, in breath. Stretch up, bend back a little bit. Feel the arch in the lower spine, feel the sensations. And out breath, arms back to the sides. Once more in. Stretch up, bend back a little more. Feel the sensation. Out breath. Close the eyes. Keep feeling the body. Don't let the mind wander in other thoughts. Feel your feet pressing the floor. Hands and fingers hanging at the sides. Remember standing, and thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Just keep the standing body in the front of the awareness. And the next in breath, lift up on the toes while raising the arms over the head in this way. Face the hands toward each other, about 5 inches apart. Stretch up. Out breath, come back down. body, blowing up a helium balloon. Out. Once more. Stretch. Out. Just close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Feel that outline, standing body, the head on top, arms on the legs, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Any or all of those sensations are in the present moment. Keep remembering standing. Next, we're going to do the side bending using one arm at a time. So on the next in breath, raise your left arm up. And keep your fingers and arms straight close to your head. On the out breath, bend over your right side as far as you comfortably can. Lay the arm on the side of the head. In breath, lift up. Go down and up to that same side 2 more times. Out breath. In. Out. Out breath, lower that arm. In breath, raise the other arm. 3 times to the other side. Out breath. In. Out. Once more. Out breath. The out breath, lower the arm. Just keep feeling the body. Don't give the mind time to wander away. The body's always here and now. Standing. Touching the outer skin. Or life force sensations under the skin. Letting go of your thoughts. Next we'll do the squatting or knee bending. On the in breath, lift up on the balls of the feet, raise the arms up front for balance. On the out breath, bend the knees. Lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. And come down as far as you can. Squatting position. Take a deep breath. Feel the muscles in the legs pushing the body up. All the way up on the toes. Do an out breath. In. Out. In. The out breath, relax. Feel the increased heart beating, other pulsations, bring in aches or pains. You can feel the outline of the body, the mind's eye, standing, present moment, body centered awareness. Natural awareness. Now spread your legs and feet apart. So you're twisting from right to left, pulling the arms out, and breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right, keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. Big breath, back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body and twist to the other side, outward. In breath, front. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Once more to each side. Relax. Close the eyes, feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the arms and hands touching the sides. Feel the clothing touching the skin. Feel the head on top, the eyes and the socket. Feel that outline of the body and the mind's eye. Feeling the different sensation, prickly sensation, itchy sensation, heart beating. Now place the hands together at the chest. The in-breath, hands over the head. On the out-breath, hands to the chest, and bend the knees, lower down, keep the back upright. Feel a stretch in your knees and hips. In-breath all the way up. Out. In. Out. In. The out breath, arms back to the sides. Close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Don't give the mind time to get distracted. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel subtle pulsations in the hands and fingers. With clothing touching the skin. Head on top. Feel your face. You can feel those sensations, and that's awareness. Life force. Okay, now bring your legs and feet closer together. Standing straight, do the head turning from right to left. In breath, head to the right. Little twisting in the neck vertebrae. Look over the right shoulder. On the out breath, turning 180 degrees back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. In breath back to the right. Out breath left. In right. Out left. On the in breath, let the head stop in the middle. Keep the eyes closed, keep feeling the body. Standing, standing. Present moment, body centered awareness. Feel the life force vibration. Okay, we'll finish with one last exercise, the backward and forward bending. Just be careful with the back bend, not to bend back too far the first time. But sort of turn the palms so they face outwards, so the edges of your little fingers touch together. And on an in-breath, raise the hands up about level with your eyes, and begin spreading the arms out to the sides as you bend backwards on the out breath. Keeping the arms out to the side, lift up. And on the out breath, lower the arms and hands down towards the floor. And keep your legs straight. And touch your feet with the floor. Let little bones in the lower spine stretch out. And begin lifting up. Turn the palms outward again. In breath, raise the hands up. Out breath, bend back. In breath, lift up. Out breath, downward stretch. Once more, lifting up, turn the palms outward, in breath. Out. In. Third time, try to hold the downward stretch a little longer. And keep the legs straight if possible. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. Feel all the sensations. And lifting up. On the in-breath, bring the hands together at the chest. Out-breath, hands back to the sides. Keep the eyes closed, feel the whole body. Feel that organic aliveness of the whole body. It's the living process. The real life. Billions of cells vibrating, keeping this body alive. Okay, let's mindfully come back to our seats, get ready for the sitting. Try to get comfortable in the sitting posture. And just try to establish the natural inward curve of the lower spine. Keep the back straight. Just gently close your eyes. Feet on top of the spinal column. Try to keep your chin lifted up level with the floor. Try to mentally feel the outline of the body in the mind's eye. Feel the sense of your head balanced on top. Feel your arms at the sides and your feet, hands touching together. Just feel the natural inward curve of the lower spine where the buttocks press the floor. Sort of feel your hands and fingers touching. Feel the subtle vibrations in your hands and fingers. Just remind yourself of sitting, sitting. Feel your buttocks pressing the seat. Feel the way the knees are bent and the feet tucked underneath. And just remember sitting, sitting, centering the awareness in the body. Now again, just let the awareness rest on the eyes. From that point on the eyes, try to feel the general outline of the body. Try to hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye. And then begin doing some three-part breathing with a deep, slow breathing. Taking 2 or 3 seconds to expand the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest, holding the air in the lungs for 2 seconds. And slowly breathing out. You shouldn't strain at it, it should just be a comfortable but deep breathing. And just try to take several more deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating this mindfulness of breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count the breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. So on the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath a second. And with the out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. And the next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. Now discontinue the counting. Just let your breathing return to its uncontrolled, shorter, irregular rhythm. Keep feeling it. Keep focused either on the residual expanding and contracting sensation, or if you're able to feel the touch of air that's moving through the nostrils. Whichever of those points helps you to stay more awake, alert, and just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it. feeling the sensation. Try to feel the sensations where the clothing rubs against the skin of your stomach, rib cage, your chest. It expands and contracts. Will help keep the mind more alert. Try to tune into the 4 phases of each breath cycle. Expanding in breath in the brief pause. Contracting out breath in the brief pause. Just over and over and over again. Just letting go of your thought. If it helps you to stay focused, you can use these brief mental reminders. In, sitting. Out, sitting. It's the ongoing present moment of the body. In, sitting. Out, sitting. The brief pauses between the breaths, feel the outline of the sitting body. Or if you still have lots of thought, combine this breathing with counting the breaths on your own. See if you can stay concentrated on your own. In, sitting, out, sitting, coming back to get re-grounded in the breathing body. From time to time, take a few deep, slow breaths. Keep the mind grounded, centered, the body, awake in the body, feeling more and subtler sensation in the breathing, other sensations coming and going in the body, in and through that breathing awareness. The mind is calm enough, just open up to that life force vibration in this breathing body. Breathing is always there in the middle, but all around it, all those billions of cells of the body vibrating, keeping this body alive. You can feel those vibrations, that means you have awareness. You have concentrated awareness. Just feeling that life force process. Breathing, heart beating, blood circulating, other sensation. Just opening up to that flow of impermanence from moment to moment. Even noticing thoughts moving through the back of the mind. Our life started with the first breath. It will end when the last breath goes out. And in between the first breath and the last breath, this body is continually going in and out, keeping this body alive. Every cell of the body has a kind of awareness. If you're aware of the body and breathing while you're living, you'll be aware when the last breath leaves this body. This awareness is always occurring in the present moment. Understanding the nature of this body is being the vehicle for this karmic energized mind came into this world, certain karma to work out. Whether you're born a woman or a man, different characteristics. It's part of the karmic accumulation. By living with awareness, we can be aware of our thoughts and intentions before we impulsively act upon them. We can mindfully change the course of our life if we care to change it. Those changes will occur in the present moment by being grounded, centered. Breath by breath, moment by moment. And from time to time, take a few deep, slow breaths, 3-part breaths, to Re-energize the bloodstream, help stay awake, alert in the body, breath by breath, moment by moment. Breathing in, sitting, breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations coming and going. Sounds come and go. Pleasure or pain come and go. Various thoughts, ideas, likes, dislikes come and go. Thoughts of I, me, and mine come and go. This is all just a continuous, constant coming and going of the life process. The life process is continual flow of impermanence. It's a living process, the body, the mind. The body has its own life process, the mind has its own life process. And awareness sits in the middle, between them, not getting lost in the mind, not getting lost in the body. Not getting carried away in thoughts of the past or future, not getting disturbed by either pleasure or pain. It's the flow of present moment awareness, breath by breath, moment by moment. And what is the sense of self or I? What's it made out of? The sense of I is just like a frozen ice cube floating in the ocean of awareness. Just allow that ice cube of the sense of I to gradually dissolve. It's becoming one with the water, with the awareness. Just become like an empty house with nobody home. Only awareness is there. Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya pasati atanibindati dukhi esamango visuddhiya Nati janam apanya cha panya nati ajayitu yam hi janan cha panya cha siri nibbana santiki. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to briefly last, then vanish. When one sees this with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with suffering. This is the path to purity. And there's no meditation without wisdom, no wisdom without meditation. One who both meditates and is wise is close to peace and freedom. And thus spoke the Buddha. Now take a deep, slow breath. I invite you to in this meditation by joining in chanting the word sadhu 3 times. You do that chanting 3 times on a long out breath, feeling those vibrations in the body and mind. So take a deep breath. Breathe. Breathe. Mindfully place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath. As you breathe in, stretch your head back and pull your hands on the knees to arch your spine backward. Look up at the ceiling. Feel the sensation. Lift the head up on an in-breath, and on the out-breath, press your chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. And lift the chin up level on an in-breath, and relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends, I hope you had at least some minutes longer of some good awareness and some pleasant sensations in the body and mind. So you all know what's happening, fairly soon, the big election, and actually early voting starts tomorrow here in Maryland, where I'm at anyway. So actually I'll be going to vote in the morning, do my civic duty, because if we want to change the external world instead of doing it with fighting and other unskillful behavior, we want to make change in the outside world. We have to do it by voting. If we have to make the change in our own mind, we have to do that through developing mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. So anyway, have a good week, and be mindful, especially with all the stuff going back and forth in the news and other places, election going on. We have to maintain our mindfulness, according to your deeper feelings. Okay? So be well, be safe, be mindful, be wise. See you again hopefully next week.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Vote wisely.
Thanks, Bhante.
You, Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you,
Remember,
Bhante.
mindfulness today keeps dukkha away.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Probably went more